The rain had been falling since morning, tapping softly against the kitchen window like it had something to say, but didn't he know how to start? Jane stood by the sink, staring at the water droplets racing each other down the glass. She wasn't really watching the rain. She was listening. Behind her, Daniel shuffled through the living room, opening and closing drawers, louder than necessary. He had been doing that all week, making noise to avoid silence. "Have you seen the photo album?" he asked finally. Jen closed her eyes for a moment before answering. "Top shelf, in the wardrobe." She heard him pause. "Thank you." The words sounded strange coming from him. Formal, careful, like it didn't belong to the man she had spent 13 years with. She wiped her hands on a towel and slowly walked to the living room. Daniel sat on the floor, legs crossed, the heavy maroon album resting on his lap. Dust floated around him in the light coming through the window. He looked younger, like the boy she had met at university who used to sit cross-legged on library floors because he hated chairs. He flipped open the album carefully, as if the pages were fragile enough to crumble. "Do you remember this?" he asked. Jane leaned against the wall, but didn't step closer. She didn't need to. She knew every page by heart. It was their graduation photo. Daniel stood behind her, his chin resting on her shoulder, both of them grinning like the world had personally promised him happiness. "You wore that blue dress." He sighed softly. "You spilled juice on it 5 minutes later," she replied. He laughed quiet, almost surprised at himself. The sound made something tighten painfully in her chest. They flipped through the pages together without meaning to. Their first apartment, their wedding day, the blurry photos of their first burnt dinner, the picture of them holding their newborn daughter, Abina, both looking terrified and proud. Each photograph felt like stepping on glass, beautiful, sharp, and impossible to ignore. Daniel stopped at a photo taken 6 years ago. It was a simple picture. They were sitting on a hospital bench, leaning into each other, holding hands tightly. Jane's throat closed. That was the night Abina had pneumonia. Daniel said quietly, "You didn't sleep for 3 days." "You didn't leave her side either," Jane replied. Silence stretched between them. Thick. Familiar. Finally. "Do you ever wonder how we got here?" Jane looked away. She had wondered that every day for the past year. It hadn't happened suddenly. It never does. It was small things: missed calls, late nights at work, conversations replaced by nods, apologies that came too late or not at all. They had become two people who lived beside each other instead of with each other. Last month, Jane had packed a small suitcase and left it by the door. She hadn't left, but she hadn't unpacked either. "I think." Daniel started, then stopped. He swallowed hard. "I think we forgot to keep choosing each other." Jane's eyes filled, but she blinked quickly. "Or maybe we just got tired." Daniel nodded slowly. They sat in silence again. Rain filled the space between them like background music. After a while, Jane walked toward the bookshelf and pulled out a small wooden box. She placed it beside him and opened it. Inside were dozens of folded notes, movie tickets, receipts, and little scraps of paper. Daniel started. "You kept these?" "You wrote most of them," she said. He picked one up and unfolded it carefully. "I know we fought today, but I still want to grow old with you." He covered his mouth, his shoulders trembling slightly. "I don't even remember writing this," he whispered. "I do," Jane said. "You left it in my lunch bag after our first big argument." Daniel wiped his eyes quickly, embarrassed. "Jane, are you still planning to leave?" The question hung in the air, fragile as glass. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she picked up a photo from the album their wedding day. She traced the edge of it slowly. "Do you remember our vows?" she asked. He nodded. "Some of them, you said you would stay. Not because love is easy, but because we would have a lifetime of memories worth protecting." Daniel's eyes dropped. "I used to think shared history was enough to keep people together," Jane continued. "But lately, it feels like shared history is the only reason we're still here." Daniel looked at her, fear flickering across his face. "Is that a bad thing?" he asked quietly. Jane didn't respond right away. She walked to the window and watched the rain again. For a moment, the only sound was water hitting the roof. "When my parents separated," she said softly, "my mother burned every photo she had of my father. She said memories were chains that kept her from moving forward." She turned to face him. "I never understood that. To me, memories felt like roots." Daniel stood slowly, holding the album against his chest. "I know I've hurt you," he said. "I know I stopped showing up the way I used to. I thought working harder, providing more, fixing things silently. I thought that was love." Jane's voice cracked. "I didn't need you to fix everything. I needed you to sit with me when things were broken." Tears rolled down Daniel's face openly now. "I don't know how to undo the damage," he admitted. "But I know I don't want 13 years to end with silence." Jane felt her heart twist painfully. She walked toward him slowly, stopping just inches away. "Shared history isn't just memories," she said. "It's proof of who we were. But it can also be proof of who we could be again, if both people are willing." Daniel searched her face, desperate, hopeful, terrified. "And you?" he asked. "Are you willing?" Jane looked at the album. The box of notes, the rain outside, the man in front of her who had once memorized her favorite song just to sing it badly and make her laugh. She thought about the suitcase by the door. "I stayed all this time because of our past," she said quietly, "but I don't want to stay only because of what we were." She reached for his hand. "I want to stay because of what we're still choosing to build." Daniel broke down completely, pulling her into a tight embrace. She felt his shoulders shake, and for the first time in months, she allowed herself to cry against him. They stood there for a long time, holding on to each other like people who had almost drowned and finally found air. Eventually, Daniel pulled back slightly. "Does this mean you're unpacking the suitcase?" Jane gave a small, watery smile. "It means I'm not leaving today." He nodded, understanding the weight of those words. Outside, the rain began to slow, the steady drumming softening into a gentle whisper. Later that evening, they sat on the floor, surrounded by photographs and notes, telling stories they had almost forgotten. They laughed at old mistakes, cried over old fears, and sat in comfortable silence when words felt unnecessary. As night settled, Jane leaned her head on Daniel's shoulder. "You know," she said softly, "shared history doesn't guarantee a happy ending." Daniel intertwined his fingers with hers. "No," he agreed, "but it gives us something worth fighting for." Jane closed her eyes, listening to his heartbeat, steady and familiar. For the first time in a long time, staying didn't feel like being trapped in the past. It felt like standing at the fragile beginning of a future built from everything they had survived together. And sometimes, she realized, love isn't about never breaking. Sometimes, it's about looking at the shattered pieces of years shared, memories lived, promises broken and remade, and choosing, again and again, to stay and rebuild.